On a more serious note, when you found out about the attacks of October 7th, what went through your mind?
If I'm allowed to use a curse word, I was like,
As many as
I
possible.
was like, oh shit. Part of my stand-up comedy is I describe a situation where I was in a restaurant with producers, and there was a bombing 2 blocks away in Chelsea, New York, in 2016. And of course, this is the like, damn, what's going to happen to us now?
Mhm.
And there's like two different reactions. There's like the white reaction, which is like, oh my god, I hope nobody is hurt, this is terrible, I hope everybody's okay. And there's the Arab reaction, what's his name, his name, what is the name, because you know what's gonna come. It's kind of I was scared what's gonna really happen in that area, and it's like, oh my god, it's gonna be horrible. And the way that it was reported, I didn't know how to handle this. So I went into hiding for a few days, 3 4 days, and I talked about Piers Morgan team talking to me 2 times, 3 times. I was like, no, I can't. How can you defend that? How can you defend the rape, the decapitated babies, and whatever? And then I started kind of looking in the news a little bit, and then I started seeing people coming on the shows and saying things that I know as an Arab, as a Muslim, as someone from that region, that it's not true. But I didn't know what to say, how to say it. So I said, by the third time when they asked me, I said, like, fine, put me on. And I went there. It was more of a, figuratively speaking, a suicide mission, and because it's a lose-lose situation. I can lose stuff in Hollywood. I remember my manager's like, Bassem, be careful. I mean, are you sure you want to do it? My manager was like, please don't do it. Please don't do it. And on the other side, if I don't perform well, whatever well means, I'm gonna be rejected by my own people. So it was a lose-lose situation, because whatever I say, it will never be enough, and whatever I say will not be good enough. And I was going into there, and I felt that I was going into a trance for the 33 minutes that I was on that interview for the first time.
You blacked out.
I blacked out. And a lot of people ask me, is the earpiece, was that a bit? When the earpiece kept falling, it's like, no, it was really falling off and it disconnected, and I had to save it because I cannot see them. All I can hear, I can just hear them. And I could expecting at any time, okay, Bassem, thank you. It's like, I was fighting for every second to say words, to put stuff in there.
Yeah, for people who don't know, this is your conversation interview with Piers Morgan, and you couldn't see.
I couldn't see. I was just like the lens of the camera. And I was just
It was like a surreal dream or nightmare.
Yeah, hello, Bassem. I was like, hello, Bassem. I was like, hi.
And it could end at any moment. Your career and everything.
Everything, yeah, yeah.
So what was the drive that got you to actually do it, to overcome that fear?
Multiple things. First of all, I don't want to say it's just my wife's family, because my wife's family has always been there, but this time was different. The bombing, the attack, they usually one of those people that they're aware of everything. Whatever happened in Gaza, they are always in safe places. But this time, it seems that there was no place safe, and already we heard about like 2 3 of the cousins and the uncles already lost their homes. So this was too much. So I wanted to say something for those people, because I know that, I made one of the jokes that I made about like, oh, it's Hassan, her cousin. He's a loser. He's a doctor. And every time a hospital was bombed, we were worried about him. So I wanted to say that because I felt that this is a family that I have never seen in my life. I've never. She actually hardly saw an uncle or two, because they cannot leave. But I said, like, I need to speak. At least I do something for those extended family that I have never known. But also because when Piers Morgan team called me a couple of times, said, okay, let's see what's going on in the show. And I just watched the stuff and the lies and the one-sided reporting that made my blood boil. And then I thought, like, what am I afraid of? I'm afraid of, if I say something, I can lose my career. It's like, wait a minute. But that was the reason why I left Egypt. I said, wait, I left Egypt. I came to the United States. I came to the land of the free, where I can say anything I want. And yet I have limitation of what to say. I mean, I thought we left that shit behind. I mean, what's happening? And I understand the connection of like how sensitive it is when you speak about Israel. and all of the ready-made accusations. But as an Arab, as a Muslim, I don't react the same when you talk about Saudi Arabia or Iran or Egypt or any of them. It's like, hey, you want to diss some of these countries? I'll do that with you, because I have strong opinions about what happened, and I already been expressing them. But when I talk, that's why I speak, and there's a lot of Jewish people who come to my show, and they understand that. They understand the separation. But that kind of a grouping of blackmailing people and saying and not saying what they have in their mind, it is that kind of like one of the things that kind of like push me to go on the show.
The thing that was bothering you, was it what was being said or how it was being said?
Both. Because there are lies, which is usually in the media, but there was the total disregard of humanity. You talk a lot about, in your show, about human suffering. And I felt that here the human suffering was not equal. I felt that's why I came up with this, like, what's the exchange rate today? What's the exchange rate today? There's, of course, it's terrible to see anybody die. But when I feel that, like, isn't our life not worth anything?
Yeah, you had a chart akin to crypto.
Yeah.
From an you analyze it from an investing perspective, of course, in the dark humor kind
ROI on that.
And you were saying that a certain year was a good year.
Yeah, 2014.
2014 was a good year for investment purposes, and also to refer to a family member that you called a loser. You were saying that you called him, had a conversation with him, and he keeps saying that he's not using anybody for human shields, and you called him a loser. What do you do? You can't even keep a job.
The liar. He lied to us because I have to believe. But this is what the one thing. It's like, it's also one of the things, like how it was said. It was stuff that I've been hearing. I don't know what turned on my head, but it's stuff that I've been hearing all my life from the media. Israel warns civilians before bombing them. And that's okay. But that's not okay. Israel is trying to minimize the civilians, but killing them anyway. And that's okay. But that's not okay. So it is kind of like the indoctrination that we've been hearing as if it is okay. And then suddenly it's not.